Well, the city has released a report on how the city can address the city's homelessness problem. In its report, the auditor made 12 recommendations for improvement. Here to talk to us about the report's finding is homeless outreach worker from the McAlister Institute, Mr. Brad Russell. Welcome.
Welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming to talk about this, because I think that's the key, right? We need to talk about the homelessness issue. Right off the bat, what do you think of the findings in the report?
Well, actually, I agree with all the findings, and the best thing about it is that we're talking about it, is that we're trying to come up with solutions to this crisis. It's the homeless situation in San Diego, and actually in the United States. It's a crisis, and they're not going away, but we're trying to come up with solutions to help the homeless population, one person at a time.
Two of the findings that I think really jumped out to me in this audit: it claims the city has increased their action, but they still need to do more, and they're not maximizing their outreach efforts. You are right there. You're on the front lines. You're doing the outreach. What do we need to do to maximize the outreach efforts?
So they're talking about hiring more homeless outreach workers, which is a great idea, to be able to offer more resources. San Diego is housing first model. Unfortunately, there's not enough housing. There's not enough mental health facilities. There's not enough substance abuse treatment beds. But the great thing about it is that we're talking about it, and we're trying to come up with solutions. And it's an effort from all the way from the nonprofits to the faith-based organizations to the politicians, and everybody is trying to get on the same page to get into the solution. So we're working towards a common goal.
One of the criticisms of solutions is if you build it, they will come. So many people feel that these are Band-Aid approaches. What do we really need to do to get to the actual crux of why we're having this homelessness explosion, and that these folks aren't able to use the services available, in your opinion?
So in my opinion, the crux of the matter is we have to remember that the homeless population are in a crisis. Something happened in their lives that caused them to become homeless. They did not wake up one day and decide, I'm going to be homeless. So we have to look at what the problem is, and we have to use our motivational interviewing, our active listening skills. Everybody has a story. Everybody has something to tell you. So we have to learn how to listen and learn how to come into some solutions. And if it means we have to get into some progressive engagements and think outside the box, and come up with a plan. And we can't look at the overall 10,000 people that are homeless in San Diego. We need to look at it as a client-centered, one person at a time, one family at a time. And if we keep doing that, eventually we're going to get into the solution. We're going to start housing more and more people.
I think that's really key and profound what you just said, because this is not going to be a one-size-fits-all solution. So we're talking about many different tiers of approaches and fixes.
We are, and there's many different organizations, but we're all trying to get to the place where we're using the same language and the same approach and the same model and the same best practices. And you know, we work as long as we continue to work in collaboration with each other, we have to realize that sometimes mistakes are going to be made, and we're not always going to come up with a solution. And some days are going to be better than others. And some days are going to be worse. But we have to remember that we have to be client-centered. We have to remember that these are human beings that we're dealing with, and if we can continue to offer them some hope, you know, it's either offer them some hope, or we're going to look into this jails, institutions, and death, and that's not the answer.
Spoken as somebody who knows, because you deal with these people every single day. Brad, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you very much.
All right.